Good evening. Just gotta keep it quick. I know it wasn't on the list. I got a question and a comment. First, I guess, really like to understand something discussed here is that, you can correct me if I'm wrong on the framework here, but we had a lawyer helping the county, you guys, to work through the SALDO. This lawyer and you couldn't do anything to attack a specific project or hurt a specific project. You said you can't vote for anything that would kill a project. That's really, wow, right? So no matter what's in this SALDO, let me finish, please. Okay, so we can't, I'm saying we as a county, right? I live in this county, all you live in this county. We can't do anything to stop this project in the SALDO. We can't do anything that potentially looks like it's targeting this project. But the other lawyer at the table, Mark Saad, can come in and give advice on how you can basically reverse anything. So he's like reverse targeting, I don't know how to say that, this project. I mean, the other lawyer at the table is literally there to defend this project, while everyone else here can't. It doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, please help me understand that, how that's acceptable.
So where that is deals with what we have read, and I understand that, Mr. Mance is, an attorney, so he can look at it more from a legal, but we got advice. We got it from the Attorney General's office. And I think Mr. Mance said it best. You can't use the SALDO to zone.
Which is not the same
That
as
doesn't my,
you can't kill a project.
It's not my question.
No, sentences aren't equivalent.
And I agree with that. But there were lots of discussions where the conversation basically went to, well, if we don't get this done, the project's going to go forward. That was stated in our executive session. So,
By whom?
by you. You stated it.
Gentlemen,
You stated it.
if anybody agrees with that, please speak up. Have I not said the entire time that we need to have an ordinance that's agnostic of any one project and it needs to be forecast out across the entire community? And I refuse to even look at the diagram of where these things were, and I told you guys that. Please, if Rolf's recollection is held by the group, let everybody know.
In November, when we first had Mr. Barton there, I think that was our November. Yes. Our November meeting was the first time we had him there. We went into executive session, and there was a lot of discussion around the ordinance, the SALDO amendments. And Mr. Mance, you pushed for us to try to get this done, because in your statement that night, you stated, and I'm gonna say it as clearly as I can remember it, is if we don't get this done, they could conceivably get the project going. Something to that effect.
Something to that effect is very important to make a distinction here. I said that if an application goes in prior to an ordinance on the books, there is no regulation that affect the project. 100%, I meant that. And I have said that repeatedly. If they submit an application tomorrow, right, even though we're within our 30-day window, there is not an ordinance on the books that provides any protections against this industry whatsoever in the county. I have said that numerous times. Why I advanced this last April, so that we could have a baseline set of protections in place. But there's a clear distinction of that project goes forward or that project goes forward under regulations.
Well, my recollection, and I've got 10 other people, 9 of them I think were there.
Sir, That's not my question. And I wasn't in those meetings.
Well, that's-
I'm a
that's- that's-
resident here.
And I am
I'm
too.
speaking up for,
Jacob, I am too.
I know that, but I'm speaking up for, despite how they want to diminish the people, how we're affected, I'm speaking up for a lot of people that do feel differently, and it's all a matter of opinion. So as a resident here, I don't see that vote being reflective of the community. But my question is, how is it acceptable that the other lawyer at the table is there to protect a project when the other people in the room can't do anything, doesn't even want to look at it, to target
That's how the
it?
law's written. Period.
Yeah, we retained an attorney.
Right, and the attorney's advice on this last one that you guys just rejected, what was his advice on that?
We weren't in that meeting.
We weren't.
None of it. The only person that was in that meeting was Commissioner Mance and John. Those are the only two people. I have no idea what Mr. Barton said, other than what has been told to me. I don't have any reason
We
to
only
doubt
did
it.
what we approved in advance to the county commissioners.
Okay, your words were, you can't vote on this if it has anything in it that would stop the project, right? Those were your words in this meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
probably could have worded it better.
You said it a couple times.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So just the last comment, and I think this is completely short-sighted. We have mutual aid agreements with Virginia and other counties as first responders. You're just talking about an agreement with Wardensville and Hardy County, right? We have neighbors. As a principle of do unto others, how can you just sit here and say we're only going to think about Hampshire County? Do you know how close some of these turbines will be to Virginia? Private properties all along that ridge? You're just blowing that off? I think it's short-sighted and a mistake.
I'll explain my opinion of where I'm at with even back there. So, in the last meeting when we were in executive session, like I said, I feel that we came to what we were considering was compromise at that point. There had been different things discussed in previous months or whatever about different setbacks or whatever. So, what came down to, and this is my opinion, this is not, what it came down to was that maybe that they were happy at that point of, so we still were at the 5 times the height of 2,000 foot setback for Hampshire County, which again, I know I'm understanding what you're saying about our neighbors. Our primary job is to protect Hampshire County.
Right.
So we were, in my opinion, my choice was to either accept that, or to accept that compromise, or to accept the compromise of reducing the setbacks completely, whether it be of reducing the entirety of the setbacks down to a reasonable point.
Because that would potentially stop the project? So I mean, is the whole time this is crafted in a way that it can't stop the project? I mean, that's what I'm hearing? I mean, that's what all this months and months was, to craft something that couldn't stop the project? Right. No, but I'm saying what I'm hearing is that your goal was to make sure it didn't stop the project. That's what I'm hearing.
Our goal was to be reasonable. And like I said, and I'm saying at 5 times the height,
state guy.
at 5 times the height, they would have guaranteed a stop project for anywhere in the county. So, and I'm not trying to argue there, but at 5 times the height, it would have guaranteed a stop project for anywhere in the county. And realistically, right now, it still does for everywhere but there, and I understand that. But
Unless they buy the adjacent lots, we're
yeah,
gonna waive it.
and it does. And I'm gonna also clarify too, like that was the agreement that we came to in the last meeting. And that was where we were all at. I completely respect the county commissioner's ability to change that if they want to, and I'm not gonna throw Logan under the bus for offering that change at the suggestion of the attorney that was there, but right now, we feel that we've completed our part then. If that attorney's saying this is, now, I would fully support the county commissioner changing it, But unless we want to drag this out for a couple more months and bring that attorney back here and talk to me, I'm not changing my opinion of what I had last month, because that's where I was at. But I'm not gonna throw anybody under the bus for saying they want to change it now if they want to. That's fully their right, and that's why they're elected as county commissioners. But we were at what we all, and we were unanimous, and it was very clear, but we all thought we were at a good compromise at that point, and that's why we went forward with it. I'll stop now before I.
Can I ask one more question procedurally? Like, you guys approved it and went to the commissioners? They
sent it back to us.
They changed it, so that was the vote? Well, the commissioners to send it back.
Voted to advance it to the 30-day review process, which is start. It has a hearing right now set for April 28th, at which time the county commission could vote to consider it as it moved into that 30-day review process. They could vote to pause and restart given this information. They could vote to do any combination thereof. They could let it go through and then hear the public's input during the 30-day review process.
They could add county line, you can, they get to amend their
They-
motion that they
They
made.
can add, they can subtract, they can do anything. That's
Now,
right.
the reason that it happened at the timing that it did was that procedurally it's better to have the version that it's finally voted on stable for that 30-day review process. So if we knew that that amendment was going to be considered, throw it in ahead of the 30-day review, that we don't throw it in at the end and invite a challenge on it. So we'll have, considerations to navigate there with the information that's come out of this. And Jacob, I appreciate it, but also Planning Commission. There's no hiding the fact that we have butted heads personally and professionally over this. But you're a public body. You are volunteers that are serving your community and you have a role. And so I can appreciate the fact that you guys are making the decision, the best decision that you can with the information that's available to you. I always strive to encourage accountability for your decisions. So everything that we discuss and weigh out here in the public, we owe the public justification for that. So my request is, just made a vote here, at least be able to discuss it and have the public understand why we did what we did. Like I said, I'm not hiding the fact that I'm probably going to push back against this at the county commission, but that doesn't stop me from having an appreciation for your ability to vote and then make this recommendation back to the county commission. So.
It was also discussed many times in executive session about how people felt on the commission about how we wouldn't want to keep you from, if you had a project, landowner rights. So that weighed into.
I get that. I would never do that to my neighbors. I'm an employer, and if it took to one turbine per how many employees do they get to put up? Can I put up one of them? I'd never do it. Some of this is a matter of just principle, and it's just wrong in my eyes, but I hear you. Okay. Well, thank you. I didn't mean to carry that on too long, but thank you.